Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachah Kodash, the blessings of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. I want to say salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the Krishamon, this week's topic is going to be entitled All Types of Wars. All types of wars are popping off. Recently in the news, Israel killed one of the Hamas leaders, Ismail Haniyeh, I believe. And they're saying they're not done. I mean, look, they also want Yahya Asawar, or pronounced Yo-Yo Asawar. They wanted him for months. And, the leader of Iran said, look, man, we're going to get back. So it seems like, this thing is going to keep going back and forth. The reason we haven't really escalated into a full-blown World War III yet is because that RFID microchip has to become mandatory, Now, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 3. It reads, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives," that he being Yahushua, "the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming and the end of the world?" So pretty much, Lord, when you're going to come back and destroy, at that time what they believed was the Roman Empire, but the Lord will destroy the rebirth of the Roman Empire, America. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Right, take heed that no man deceive you, because there's going to be many false prophets telling you all these different types of breakdowns or what have you. But do not be deceived. Which, if you have the elect, you won't be deceived. So we pray we have the hopeful elect. It says, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." And that's the topic at hand. When I say all types of wars, I'm not just talking about international wars. I'm talking about civil wars, class wars, race wars. This is what the Lord said. He said, look, I'm not coming back to bring peace, but a sword, division. They have set the parents against the children against the parents, husband against wife. They've put a lot of things at odds with each other, and it's almost like a volcano. It's bubbling, bubble up, and everything is going to erupt all at once. But there's constant chaos that's about to happen in these streets. This is Jacob's trouble. This is the time of the end. But you know what? These things have to come to pass as we read in for Yahushua to return. So it's not going to be an easy going, but we know that the end of it is going to be the Lord returning. It says, "For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Right? So all these things have to come to pass. And the scriptures in the book of Jeremiah 49 tells us that the least of the flocks shall draw them out. So we see that the nation of Israel, not the nation of Israel, the state of Israel over there run by the Mamlukites, is drawing people out. And people are doing some digging. It's very interesting. I was watching, Trump was speaking at some black convention, and this nigga woman just embarrassed herself. Trump cooked her. And, they asked him, what would you do to combat inflation? He said the first thing is he mentioned a couple things, but one of the things he said was drill, baby, drill. And he mentioned the fact that, and I said this before, back when it was, a couple years ago, he said, the United States has a shit ton of oil, more oil than the Middle East, more oil than China, more oil than all these people. And we have to dig it. And if you keep track of this stuff, during the Trump's presidential run, the United States was the #1 exporter of oil. I think now we're like number 4. But Trump started fracking, digging up oil here, and that brought down inflation. That brought down a lot of things. Because that affects everything. To travel around, to fly things out, it requires fuel. If you're not importing fuel, but using your own fuel in your own land, that saves a lot of money. So, with that said, you have to wonder yourself. You have to ask yourself: did America really go in the Middle East for oil? Because remember, they said that. But if America is abundant in oil, then why did they go over there? Then you get into digging and you see, okay, well, they got there at the behest of Israel, the state of Israel. And then you start to see those particular ties, and then that forces the rabbit hole to go deeper. So those, states, those countries that were invaded and made to look like they were happy when Saddam Hussein was taken down. When Saddam Hussein in the 80s had the keys to Detroit, all in the different countries, Iraq, Libya, you have to look up something called PNAC, Project for a New American Century, where it was orchestrated. They wanted another Pearl Harbor type event, all right, as a guise to get over there, all right, to cause disruption in the East. So there's never going to be peace over there because the Lord's people in there. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reads, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the sun, right? So everything has its time. But the time that we're in is this, verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And we are in a time of war. I forgot the senator that was speaking, or whatever political person he was, but he said, look, if Trump doesn't win, we have to go to civil war. So, and he said that on national TV. So these people are going to fight for their country. You see, it's crazy about how the Mossad had to go. It's crazy how the Mossad had to go because he put Trump in, so these Americans, so-called Americans, got a taste of what it's like to make a lot of fucking money. For 4 years. 401k is up, oil is $1.80 something. They got a taste of that. They got their gun rights, because you have to understand, the so-called white man has way more invested in America than the average Negro. So they keep up with their policies and politics, how politics affect them and affect their finances. So they got a taste of that business, man. For 4 years, everything was sweet, everything was good. No wars, all that type of shit. They trying to get it back because now you gave them 4 years of bitter Joe Biden, increased taxes, shit was going, you couldn't make any money. Sucked, right? So now they're like, man, fuck that. We're not going back to that. And the thing about those supporters is they know their constitutional right. They're still loved by their citizens, but they don't want their country to be taken away from them by the deep state. Little do they know, really, at the end of the day, left wing, right wing is the same bird. Trump is still a Zionist. So they control, but they do fight. And some people know that. Some of these Edomites do know that, but they're like, look, I'd rather this of the lesser evil, if you will. And they're gonna fight. I'm pretty sure if he gets in there, they're gonna put a Black Swan type event on. If he doesn't, that could lead to a lot, man. So this is just the work of the Lord, man. And these types of things keeps us excited. Remember, the Exodus 15:3 says, the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, is a man of war. Now, going back to the civil unrest, all right, and the class wars that's going to happen, this is the book of Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people mourn. So that's what people are mourning for the past 4 years. Taxes are going up, grocery inflation, you're not making no money, job situation, borders out of control, people quitting their jobs left and right, shit's going south, right? So different reasons they're complaining. It says, but when the righteous, which again, I want to make this clear, none of these damn presidents are righteous. When the righteous bear rule, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So Salaki, I broke it down a little bit backwards. I broke down the morning part first. But when the righteous are in authority, people will rejoice. Now, at some point or another, people are going to be complaining, no matter who's running this shit. But when the Israelites, the Lord's chosen people, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans take back rule, well, Yahushua takes rule, we'll be enjoying heirs, nobody shall be in mourning. Everything is going to be done justly, okay? All right? Scriptures tell you, even after 1,000 years, the nations are gonna live again. All right, they're gonna love worshiping the Lord, and us. You see, because we're gonna deal so justly. Now, let me go real quick to these class wars. Second Ezra 15 and 14 reads, it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." And this is why they're trying to fight to get rid of them Second Amendment. You know, like I said in previous shows, that Trump assassination attempt wasn't supposed to be an attempt. He was supposed to get killed. And they could have used that, all right, to really target gun control. And even though these events where people take guns and shoot places up are extremely rare, they want to use those rare events to say, oh, people shouldn't have guns. But if you look at states that allow people to have guns, the crime is less. What they don't show a lot is how many times somebody having a gun has saved a life. They don't show that. They want to show people shooting shit up. A lot of those times, not a lot, but you know, there's times where those people are agents, all right, and it's a psyop. But if they wanted to paint a narrative to embrace the rights to have guns, I'm sure they could have shown you hundreds and hundreds of cases wherein the fact that somebody had a firearm to protect themselves, they were delivered out of a bad situation. But they don't want to show that because that's not what they want. They want to take away the guns, so when they come and roll, all right, people don't have a means to defend themselves. It says, "For there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings," meaning their different officials that are in charge, from the great to the least, from a governor down to a street cop. It says, "They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Right? People are going to be their own goddamn sheriffs and deputies, man. All right, trying to fend for themselves. And like I said, you're gonna see class wars, man. And it's crazy because the gap between poor and rich just keep getting larger and larger. They completely attacking the middle class. They want to get rid of that middle class, all right, and just have rich and poor. Remember, Revelations the 16th chapter. So like in Revelations the 13th chapter, the 16th verse on down, he calls it all, both poor and rich. They don't even say middle. So that whole middle class thing is getting attacked. And why? Because the middle class has some sort of autonomy, right? You run your own business. You can kind of, you know, if you run your own business, you can low-key kind of make your own moves a little bit, right? So when that chip becomes mandatory, you can say, look, I don't want to take the chip. I want to take cash in my business. So they don't want that option there, okay? So that's how come, you know, they moving how they moving to try to get rid of that middle class. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the whole field elect out there. You Akim to the Zadokim that do the Signature most truth and sincerity. Shalom.